Well, hello. We are about to embark on one of my most ambitious vlogs, and I know people do this kind of vlog all the time, and that is reading booktuber favorites from the previous year. It's ambitious for me because January is very busy. I normally read maybe 2 books per vlog, and I am sitting here about to try and read 5 books. I'm doing this my own way. I am a very busy person, especially right now, and I want to read books I have a chance of liking. So I watched several booktube videos. I picked a book from the favorites list that I had not read, and it might not be their most favorite book of the video, but it was in their favorites list. So like it really stood out to them for a reason. And also if it's like the 5th book in a series, I will be reading the first book because that makes sense, right? So we are starting with the lovely Covers with Cassidy, and I have been planning to read this book for this video for a long time because of her, but you can probably see it right here. We're gonna start with Dungeon Crawler Carl, the book that the internet will not shut up about. My TikTok is full of Carl, my Instagram is full of Carl, YouTube is full of Carl, my friends are all chatting about Carl, so it is about high time that I met Carl and Princess Donut. What I know about this is it kind of plays like a dungeon crawler video game, except you're reading it in a book. The world essentially gets destroyed. Carl and Princess Donut are taken to a game show where they must survive a dungeon that's run by aliens or something like that. I don't know. It's supposed to sound bonkers when you're talking about it, and I, for one, cannot wait to dive in. This is a little bit of a busy day. I am leaving for book club relatively soon, but I do want to sit here and go ahead and listen to the first 1 or 2 chapters while I crochet one of my granny squares for my 2025 book blanket. I finished Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox last night, and so I want to catch up on my book blanket so I am not falling behind and also drink my coffee. Now, hi, I am well aware of the fact that I am being very dangerous with a cup of coffee and a white sweater in a house full of cats, and I'm going to get burgers for lunch. Count my bad decisions for me.
All right, mine.
I'm home after a day at work. You can probably tell when half the makeup is worn off of my face and I am just tired. And I've got my child who has missed me all day. I could hold her like this all day long and she would be perfectly content. She's just a baby, a 10-year-old fat fluffy baby. Am I right? Okay. All right, so we have a couple things to talk about. The first being, I have an update in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I got to chapter 12 yesterday. I'd say like around a third of the way through the book, about 100 pages or so. And this is so much fun, especially the audiobook. It's just a lot of fun. I know things are going to get like super serious later on. I've listened to enough people talk about this to know, but like, okay, so I just got a Switch 2, and I have been replaying a lot of the games I enjoyed playing when I had my original Switch, like Stardew and Animal Crossing, and I started playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. And with all of these games, like, you have to go through certain tutorials and you have to go through certain mundane tasks to get where you're going, right? In Stardew Valley, you got to clear out all of your land for gardening, and you've got to meet all of the people, and you got to get your fishing rod. Zelda, please not now. Please not now. Thank you. And then, you know, in Disney Dreamlight Valley, you've got to clear all of the vines before you can start meeting the characters. And you have all of these people that walk you through the like mundane little things that you have to know how to do in order to get to the meat of the video game. And with Dungeon Crawler Carl, the beginning of the book is the same thing. So I know that there's meat to this story, but you have to meet Mordecai, and he has to tell you what all of the loot boxes do and how to access your inventory. And like, in a very fun and engaging way, you still have to go through all of the like intro level tutorial based stuff to get to how we play the game. I love Princess Donut already. Her voice in the narration is so good. And I hear the audiobooks just keep getting better and better. And I'm like, this audiobook is already so much fun. Carl is reading a little bit just like dude bro to me right now, but I know I'm going to love him even more. We have gotten a lot of action sequences, a lot of stepping on bugs and fighting goblins, but I am so excited to see where this story is going to go. So I'm having a really fun time. It's very good for my brain. Like, I haven't stopped smiling the entire time I've talked about this book. So, other things. Here is my granny square for Rift that I made when I started listening yesterday. And then I also started working on a sweater with one of those yarns that I picked up at Michael's, but I have to make some ribbing for the sweater first. So, this was my very mundane task while I was listening to the tutorial portion of Dungeon Crawler Carl. We are working on bottom ribbing for a cardigan that's just in this like very plain cream color. So this is not very engaging for my brain, but we will get to the engaging part soon. And then last but not least, my secret palette school. Zelda, baby, child, hey, do you need food? Come here, come get some yum-yums. My secret palette school tracked down the new Alani flavor, which I wanted to be excited for it, but I've heard so many people not like it that I don't know what to think. So I've had it in the freezer to get it nice and cold so that we could try it together. This is the cherry bomb. It definitely smells like cherry syrup. It's got like a very deep flavor. So like the cherry slush is very sweet because it's got the lime. I don't hate this, but I don't think it's my favorite. I think I let it sit out too long after it had been in the freezer. I think if it was like super cold, it would be really good. But I'm gonna drink it. So here's the deal. Mondays and Tuesdays, I have so little reading time. I'm stage managing for a production of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I am the stage manager in charge on Mondays and Tuesdays, and my assistant is taking over for me on Thursdays because my mental state has not been great lately. So that was kind of the agreement I put in place with the theater when I agreed to stage manage. But it means I'm getting home at around 4, and I have to turn right back around and go back to where I was at 5:30. So like today I need to fold laundry, so I am going to listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl while I fold laundry. I would love to get some crocheting in, but I just don't think there's time, and I'd love to have my dinner before I go. So I've got a lot to fit in this next 45 minutes. So wish me luck, and hopefully I get some time with Carl. My current problem is that I haven't had any time to read the last 2 days, and all I can think about is Princess Donut. And that's a problem. I'm 40% through Dungeon Crawler Carl, guys, and it has literally taken hold of my brain. I bought a shirt yesterday. Good morning. I am in the process of getting ready for work. I went to Silent Book Club last night and read like 15% of Dungeon Crawler Carl while I was there. We met up at a place that's like central to a whole bunch of restaurants, but it itself is a brewery. So grabbed a drink there, grabbed pizza from one of the places around, and then we just yapped for like 45 minutes and then read. And it was a great time. I really love all of the people that come to Silent Book Club. I just met them this year, or I guess like the end of 2025, and they're all such sweet people. So if any of them watch, like, hi, you guys are awesome. I also got some of those lazy readers, excuse me, you know, like you can lay down completely flat and put them on and see what's in front of you. I'll try and get a clip later. They're great for crocheting. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm here to tell you I am at chapter 31 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is 60% of the way through the book, and I have just been having the time of my life, but I feel like I'm not doing my due diligence if I don't mention one thing that did give me the ick. And I don't think I've heard anybody talk about this, but if you don't know, if you are somebody that struggles with size or weight or have struggled with like any kind of eating situation in your past, even like reading a word associated with an ED can be triggering. And there is a character that you meet who is described as thin but not A. And I don't know why that rubbed me the wrong way. Like, why can't we just say that she's very thin? We didn't have to use the A word. It's not enough to like tamper my enjoyment. But again, I just feel like as somebody that can get like in my own head about those kinds of things, I felt like I had to mention it. So throwing that out there, everything else about the book has been a fantastic time. A fantastic time. I am living for Princess Donut. And like I said yesterday, when I'm not reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, I'm thinking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, which has not happened to me with a book series in a very long time. Everything is definitely happening to our characters right now. Like they are just thrown into a world of an unknown, and they are trying to figure out how to get to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. They have no idea. They are so disoriented. But like even just in those like 210-ish pages that I've read, you can tell that they are growing as characters. I almost said as people, but like Donut's a cat. Sunday afternoon with no plans, and around here, you guys know that means I'm not gonna get ready. So you get the no makeup, hair in a clip footage of me today. But I'm here to tell you I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl. It took me a week because, again, my school weeks are just so busy. This week I had rehearsal Monday, rehearsal Tuesday, silent book club on Wednesday, nothing Thursday, and then I went out with friends to celebrate some things on Friday. So I've just been listening when I can, and I am giving Dungeon Crawler Car 4.5 stars. I really, really, really loved it. I'm just gonna like echo some things I've heard other people say in this first book. I just wish there was a little bit more of a character study. But I mean, what a book to study, like whether empathy can exist during survival, you know? Like they have no chance but to try and survive. This game is completely survive or die. So they have to survive, but then there's such a humanness to it as Carl and Donut are introduced to all of these other groups, and what is the best thing for people is constantly at the forefront of Carl's mind and a lot of times Donut's mind too. And Donut is such a fun character. I have never read a character like Donut, and there's like all of these questions about like what's going to happen in later books because of things that were said in this book. I cannot wait to continue the series. It can't happen now, obviously, because I'm reading my, best books from other YouTubers video right now. So 4.5 stars, only downsides where I wish there were more character growth, and then the whole like ED discussion I talked about prior to this clip. I just wish that wasn't there. So I do still need to crochet my granny square for Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I think is going to be fun because the colors are so bright. And speaking of bright, fun colors, the next book that I'm going to read is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. Like, come on. Crocheting this one is gonna be beautiful. So this is a book that was featured in Lexi over at Books with Lexi's video, and this is a second chance romance. I've only read one other book by Julie Soto, and it was The Thrashers, like so completely different genre. That was a young adult like mystery thriller, and this is an adult romance between a, I believe, wedding planner who is very disillusioned to love but loves weddings, and a florist. And not only that, it's a second chance romance, and I love a second chance romance. So I do have the audiobook for this, and while I am listening to the audiobook, I am going to keep crocheting this big ol' hexagon that I'm working on, because I found out that if you crochet 2 hexagons, fold them at the top, it becomes half of a cardigan. So I'm making this lovely little pink and purple number for February. I'm trying to make a couple different wearables for February, so I have some fun things to wear to school. So audiobook time and crochet time is just making me very happy. I just had some pineapple curry. We're gonna do some meal prep today, and I have tomorrow off. So really, I am living my absolute best existence, just leaning back and partaking of cozy hobbies. I have been, where did it go? I don't know where I put my ukulele, but I've been practicing my ukulele this weekend. Just really enjoying time spent in my own company, which is such an important thing. But yeah, I haven't had a 5-star yet this month. Dungeon Crawler Carl has definitely been the closest. Let's see if Forget Me Not can do the trick. They're going to have to excuse the fact that it's a little messy in my kitchen and my apartment because I've just been crocheting nonstop. So there's yarn everywhere. It will be a goal of mine to get that fixed before I start my work week. But it is Martin Luther King Day. I'm about to go play pickleball with my little pickleball group. I haven't seen them since last year. So I'm excited. I am wearing my Reading is My Favorite Sport crew neck that I got off of TikTok shop. I am making a water to take with me. The flavor of today is these little Walmart packs. This is unicorn, and I'm gonna mix it with berry. It's not picking up on that, but that's the berry Skittle flavor. And then while I'm in the car on the way, I'm gonna drink an Alani. But let's do a quick update on Forget Me Not, because I did listen to 40% of that I listened to 40% of this. I cannot make words today. Yesterday while I was getting work done and doing stuff around the house. I am really liking this book so far. A lot of times I will find that I relate to the female characters in romances, but there is like nothing I relate to with. Her name is Emma, and she is the wedding planner. She is a very feisty person who literally does not give two flying flips about what other people think about her. So if I were to come into somebody's business place, like, I would be like, let me not disturb anything. I don't want to move anything out of place. I want to be very polite and like just polite. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Meanwhile, the first time she comes into his flower shop, she's like, let's move that. And hey, can you do this for me on this date? And he's like, It's overwhelming. Like, she's a little spitfire. And I'm not saying I don't like her. I'm just saying I cannot self insert myself into this story because I am nothing like her. She also doesn't believe in love. Her mother has been married like 16 times. So her whole life, she's just seen weddings and divorces and weddings and divorces. So, like, she doesn't have a good view of what a long term commitment looks like. And then when we get his POV, his name is Elliot Bloom. He owns the flower shop. When we get his POV, it's in the past. And so we know that these two had a relationship, which is completely contrary to how she feels about love. They had a relationship in the past and something went wrong. And now there is this huge profile wedding in the current timeline between two influencers, or one influencer and like one normal person. I very much picture them like Becca from The Bachelor, Becca Tilly, and Haley Kiyoko. That's who I picture in these two bride roles. But anyway, they're getting married and they're looking for a wedding planner, and this is a huge profile wedding. It has to be done very, very quickly. I think it's like a 7-month turnaround, and they want Elliot for flowers. So for the first time in 2 years, these two are being forced to work together again. So we're getting his snippets from the past, we're getting her snippets from the future. And there's also this like mentor slash rival wedding planning company that I feel like is trying to cause issues for Emma, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of angst in here, so if you're not an angst romance reader, stay away, but I'm really having a good time. I don't know if it feels like a 5 star, just because I'm so used to in romance novels, like kind of self-inserting myself. And I can't do that with either of the characters here. Sometimes I can do it with the guy main character if I feel like I relate to him more, but these two characters are so different from me or anybody I know, and I like both of them, and it's written so well. She writes the angst and the like, oh, I have to work with him again, like I need to hype myself up, my Apple Watch is telling me I need to call 911 because my heart rate's so high before I have to see this guy. She's doing that really, really, really well. So loving it. Don't know if it's a 5 star. I haven't had a 5 star yet in January. Anyway, I need to go get ready for pickleball. I'll check in with y'all later. Well, it's my first classroom update of the year. We haven't sat here in a while, but let me tell you, this week has been busy. Monday, I had play rehearsal. Tuesday, I was supposed to have play rehearsal, but I fell in my classroom and hurt my foot, so I stayed home to ice it. Wednesday, I had sprints, which I did get a lot of reading done. We'll do a reading update in a second. And then since I missed Tuesday rehearsal, I went to rehearsal last night. Usually I have Thursdays off, but I did go last night. And then after that, I went and watched some of my friends play pickleball because the park is right next door to where our rehearsal is. I didn't play because one, my foot's still hurting, and two, like I had just come out of rehearsal. I was not wearing pickleball clothes, but I'm ready to play again. Oh my gosh. Anyway, reading update. So first of all, I finished, what is that book called? Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This was Lexi's pick on her favorites list that I picked from, and I gave this a 3.75 star. I liked the story and I liked the setting. I liked everything about this book except the characters. So Emma, the female main character, was just really frustrating for me. It's frustrating to read about a wedding planner who doesn't believe in marriage. Like, I've read other books where there's like somebody who advocates for love but doesn't believe in it. Like, an example of this would be First Time Caller, where Aiden Valentine, the host of a call-in love radio show, is just kind of disillusioned by love. I can deal with that. But like a wedding planner not believing in marriage, that's like, and like she has her reasons, but it's just something I don't relate to at all. And so every time I was like, you are putting so much time, effort, sweat, and tears into pulling off a perfect wedding, but you don't believe in what comes after. Bonkers to me. And then I did like Elliot, but he was still a character that was hard to like self insert. And a lot of the times when I'm reading a romance, that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to relate to a character so hard that I'm like, I feel like I could live your life. And he was like grumpy and broody, but he was definitely the one that believed in love. But I just didn't like the love story. And so while I enjoyed so many elements, I didn't like them together. And that's really hard to say. But I had a good time. This one's really hard to talk about. Anyway, I gave it 3.75. I will show you, or you know what, I'll put a picture of the granny square because I obviously didn't bring the book to school. And then on sprints on Wednesday, I started my next book, which is Pictures of You by Emma Gray. This is Liv from Liv's Library's pick, or at least like my pick from her favorites. And anyway, this book I feel like is going to be a super emotional one. We are following our main character, Evie, and she wakes up one day and thinks that she is in her teenage bedroom. And then she starts feeling the sheets and she's like, it feels like there's plastic on my mattress. And she realizes that she is in the hospital and she's not 16, she is 29 and is waking up after an awful car crash that killed her husband, who was also in the car with her. But she doesn't remember being married to him. She doesn't remember anything about her adult life. Like in her brain, the amnesia that she is dealing with makes her think that she is literally 16 years old. And she finds out like some of the things that she wanted for her life have come true. She is a true crime podcaster. She's married, which she never thought she would be. And she's married to a very high profile, I believe, attorney. And obviously, he has just deceased. So she's mourning a lot of things. She's mourning the fact that like she doesn't remember her adult life. She's mourning a husband she doesn't know. And she's also finding that like all of these connections that were so important to her when she was 16, she doesn't have anymore. She can't get in touch with her best friend. She can't get in touch with her parents. And she is at the funeral for this man that she allegedly was in love with, who has awful parents, by the way. They are awful. And she decides to just kind of like run away from the funeral. And she gets in a car that she believes is her Uber, only to find out that it is a journalist that she has a connection to. She doesn't realize she has a connection to him, but then we get his POV, and he's like, yeah, I really liked this girl. We stopped talking when she got married to this dude, and I think he's gonna like help her remember who she is and who she was. So I think it's going to be a very like self-discovery story. I'm 20% of the way in, and I am doing this on audio. January has been such a heavy audiobook month for me with all of the play rehearsals and the just like getting back into a rhythm of school, but it's working really well for me. I'm not complaining. Audio books are reading, and I have credits and I have hours, so why not? Anyway, this is set in Australia, and so both of the narrators are Australian, and I'm enjoying them, but I am having to slow down the audiobook just a little bit because listening at like 2.3, my happy spot, is a little too fast for me to comprehend everything that they're saying. I'm wearing my Reading is My Favorite Sport shirt today. I've got an Alani. I'm about to have a bag of popcorn, and we're gonna have a good day doing inequalities with these children. And then after school today, it is prepping for the potential winter apocalypse that's going to hit the South. I don't know what that's going to look like, but let me tell you, we're going to be reading through it. How do you prepare for a winter apocalypse? With poke. I don't think I'd shown y'all my Dungeon Crawler Carl shirt yet. I just took a very hot shower because it is starting to get cold, and I am settling in for the night. I'm going to listen to some more pictures of you. It's already so emotional. But what I haven't told you is that I'm stage managing Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but I just found out that I will also be playing the smallest role in the show of not an angry neighbor, but like the kids go trick or treating and they knock on a door and a neighbor answers the door and she's like, "You two are too old to be trick or treating." That's my only line. And so I have decided I am making a costume for it because a stage manager typically wears stage blacks when they're working backstage on show night. And so I will just be in like black pants and a black shirt, but I wanted something that read like ornery neighbor to throw on over my stage blacks. And so I'm gonna make an obnoxiously bright cardigan because obviously a character with one line calls for this level of dedication. So I'm about to make a whole bunch of granny squares and sew them together into a cardigan because I'm an overachiever and this seems like a perfect audiobook project, does it not? I am about to be in the middle of too many projects. Don't come at me. But yeah, I'm wearing a Dungeon Crawler Carl shirt. I'm so happy with my life right now. Especially, like, I really think, and I'm probably jinxing myself, but I really think that work is going to get called off Monday and possibly Tuesday. I think that the roads are going to be too icy down south. I don't think the buses are going to be able to make it. And so I am about to hibernate in the coziest of seasons. And I couldn't be more excited about it. I have at least one more book I want to read for this video, if not two. So send me the snow. Let me be Elsa. I don't know if y'all can tell how gloomy it is outside, but we are officially in like winter storm territory. It is sleeting. We still have power. We're still roasty toasty inside, so that's all lovely. But I'm like 80% of the way through Pictures of You. And this book is so many things. I thought it was just going to kind of be like women's fiction, literary fiction, but it is family drama. It is a romance. It is grief there's a little bit of mystery in here as well. And the big feelings that it's making me feel are like overwhelming big feelings. You know, we have this past and present timeline. We have a friend from high school who is deeply in love with our female main character, but she was deeply in love with somebody else. And as the story plays out, you just see the harm that things like narcissism and love bombing and gaslighting and cutting you off from your people can do. And it has just made me so thankful for the people who have stayed in my life and fought for me and supported me. Like, this is a book that literally had me texting friends last night being like, I'm so grateful for you for sticking by me through everything. And it takes a lot for a book to make me feel that kind of feeling. We're going to see how it wraps up to see the rating, but this could be my first 5-star book of the year. Zelda really wanted to come talk to you guys about it too. She is a little bit disconcerted by the weather patterns at the moment, but I'm gonna sit here and do some listening and enjoy being like just cozy at home and finish this book up. But I had to get on here and share a little bit more about what I'm feeling. Still sitting in the same spot I was earlier because, you know, I just had a really good time sitting here today listening to the rain and the sleet outside. We're not going to talk about all this. Pretend I look cute. That's what we all need. But I finished Pictures of You and I gave it 5 stars. I don't think it was the best book I've ever read. I don't think that the story was the best story I've ever read. But guys, I feel like the emotional impact that it gave me was a 5-star emotional impact. I don't really know how to talk about that. Like, the story was good. The emotional impact that I took from it personally is why I gave it 5 stars. It's messy. It's very messy. There is some over explaining done in it, but I was very, very emotionally impacted by it. So Liv's pick so far is winning, although this wasn't a competition, and the books I've read so far have all been good. Here is the Granny Square. It is not a perfect match. I've said this a couple times now. I did not have like that like perfect aquamarine water blue, but we've got the red for her swimsuit, the yellow and the white for the words on the cover, and then I just picked a blue from my stash to use for the water because I'm not going to go spend another $30 on more yarn when I already own a lot of yarn and we're just going to make do with what we have. I am going to make a cozy bowl of soup for dinner, and then we're going to start another book because cozy weekend. I'll probably be sitting here in the next clip too, I'm not going to lie. Also, my entire day has just been spent treating this child like a baby because she does not like the weather and wants to cling to me every second. Every second. Do we hear the purrs? Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time. No talk. We survived the ice storm of January 2026. It was a lot. We definitely thought that it was going to be worse than it was. Thankfully, we kept our power. Thankfully, you know, there weren't any like major damages to my area, but North Mississippi, they struggling. That's where my dad is. They struggling. We did not have work yesterday, so it's Tuesday and it's my first day back at work, and I did not vlog at all for the rest of the weekend because I actually had my best friend come and stay with me during the snowpocalypse, even though there was no snow. We're gonna call it that. But all that to be said, I have made it quite a bit through my last book of this video. There was supposed to be one more book. I was gonna read Zodiac Academy, which was the 5th book, was on Mel at Eleanor Reed's best books of the year. But guys, I have found Zodiac Academy is just not for me. So I DNF'd that after 1 chapter. I'm so sorry, Mel. But this, If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia, is one of Monica at A Little Bit of Monica's. No, on Monica's shelves. She changed her name. It's one of her favorite books of the year. And my goodness, am I eating this book up. I am one of those people who is frequently like, there is no reason for a romance book to be 500 pages. This one is. And it could be 600 pages. Oh my gosh, the heat sounds so bad. This book could be 500 pages, 600 pages, and I would just be like, let me live in the world longer. So we're following 2 characters. We're following Michelle and we're following Cliff. And one thing I love about this book is the characters are older. Michelle turns 30 in the book. Cliff is 33. I like reading about people in my stage of life. I'm still a little bit older than both of those characters, but I like reading about them. They are both divorced. Cliff has kids. They have very established lives, and that's just nice to read about. Michelle is taking over an inn in small town Vermont. Her mom has passed away. She has a complicated relationship with her mom, which is one of my buzzwords. And she moves to take over this inn after her mother dies, while her sister, who is the one who is actually supposed to take over the bed and breakfast, finishes art school. And her dad decides to stay with her sister while she's in college. And so Michelle is coming over to run this inn. But Michelle is kind of like the Elsa in this Frozen dynamic. Her sister is a lot more like Anna. She is more cold. She is more reserved. She is more, I don't want to bother people. And so I just want to let them do their thing. But she's getting really discouraged because people aren't leaving good reviews in the guest book. And, you know, she wants to do a good job, but part of doing a good job is being a hospitable host. Enter Cliff, her next door neighbor, who is also the town baker and is beloved by everybody, and he is giving her hospitality lessons and like helping her get to know the town. Michelle has a dog, and Cliff's youngest daughter bonds with the dog. And guys, I can't even say that there's really much plot other than Cliff and Michelle getting to know each other. That's the plot. The plot is this book is 1997. The plot is when they hang out, they watch Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live and listen to voicemails left on an answering machine. And Mariah Carey is always playing at the video store. I don't know. I love the vibes. It feels like my childhood in a town. So I'm loving that. But we're just watching these two get to know each other. And there's this like added element of pressure because Michelle is only there until Christmas and then her sister's coming to take over. But the tension between Cliff and Michelle is just so good. It's not instantaneous. Like they think that the other one is attractive, but there's no like real tension. It's a very slow buildup. It's an as we get to know each other buildup. And oh, I love it. It's definitely strangers to friends to lovers. And the friendship part that I'm in right now is so peak. I love it. I love it. And then just the elements of the 90s, like Cliff's oldest daughter works, no, she doesn't work. Her boyfriend works at a video store like a Blockbuster. And there is Halloween that feels so quintessentially 90s. I can't explain it. If you grew up in the 90s, you know what 90s Halloween feels like. It has its own feel. Like Scream and Ghostface are like a big deal this Halloween. I can't stop raving about it. Let me see where I got to last night. I did nothing but read this book yesterday. I did not want to put it down. It's so good. I'm on chapter 24, page 279, 57% of the way through the book, and I'm just having a lovely time. So Monica, I'm so glad this was one of your favorites because as of right now, it feels like it could be a 5-star. I'm so happy. I'm not happy to be at work today. I'm so cold, but I need to get ready for my students. So let me get some caffeine in my system, I guess.
I just finished If It Makes You Happy. And it did make me happy, but it also just made me cry. So you'll get better thoughts tomorrow when I don't have tears, but I just finished it.
It sure is nice not having to deal with my phone basically having astigmatism and being able to film in my little corner. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. But I finished If It Makes You Happy. As I showed you a few days ago, I was in tears. I was in tears at the epilogue. I gave If It Makes You Happy 5 stars. And here's the thing. Do I think a romance book really needs to be 500 pages? 9 times out of 10, no. However, when the author makes you fall in love with the characters like Julie Olivia did, and makes you fall in love with a sense of place, I would live there forever. I really hope there's going to be more books in this town. Like, our main character has a sister, our main male character has a sister, there's other people in this town that I'm like, maybe they'll get together, I don't know. But I would love to spend more time there. Like, maybe we'll get a summer spring book since this was kind of a fall winter book. I would love that so much. And like, I don't know, the main character's sister kind of feels like a spring summer girl. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I just fell in love with this place. Is there much plot? Like, their love story is the plot, I guess. The main character, Michelle, does come off a little bit more cold-hearted. And so Cliff is like giving her lessons about how to better like interact and engage with the people in the town to make her reviews go up. But I don't think that's the point of the book. I think figuring out how to make their love story work was the point of the book, and it was so good. So Monica's pick, 5 stars, easy 5 stars. So I think overall this video was very successful. We had Cassidy, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I did not ever vlog my experience with Zodiac Academy, so I guess that's the only unsuccessful. Guys, I only made it a chapter into Zodiac Academy, and I was like, this writing is not for me. I can see how it's super bingeable, but I wasn't feeling it, and 2026 is not about pushing through books we're not feeling, so I did DNF Zodiac Academy. Oops. What else did I read for this video? I know I read Pictures of You, which was Liv's pick. I read Forget Me Not, which was Lexi's pick. And I read If It Makes You Happy, which was Monica's pick. And everything was a 3.5, 3.75. I can't remember off the top of my head, or higher. And like for me, that's very successful. So I don't know, maybe I should listen to people on the internet more. Maybe I should allow myself to be influenced more. I had a great time. What a way to end January. If you like this video, why don't you leave me like a plant emoji, because I just got this little baby behind me, any kind of plant emoji, or let me know what your best read of January was, because I would love to know. And I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye guys.